in District 9213. I'm very happy and honored to be here to officiate on this very, very important symposium. In Rotary, our areas of focus are 7, but one of them, and which is one of the very, very core one, is disease prevention and treatment. Today's symposium is focusing on mental health. I'm very happy that the Rotaract Club of Wegere Nambole with other Interact clubs have organized this. So today, we're going to engage with quite a number of students from different schools hosted by St. Julian School here. So we are going to take them through mental health. We have quite a number of experts who are going to talk to them. But the way of engaging, we also have entertainment amongst these people. Competing schools will be entertaining us. We have career guidance, and then we shall crown it all with the topic mental health. That's the way we can catch quite a number of students, the youth. We all know that 78% of our population is youth under 30 years of age. And the youth nowadays are so much engaged in so many things that if not guided well, if not talked to, if not coached and treated, get into mental health disorders because of academic pressure, because of increasing anxiety, because of social stigma, and so many that we have to with among the youth. So it's our key to prevent that disease, to prevent that disorder, to prevent the mental illness. We need to engage in this, and I want to thank the Rotary Club of Wegere Nambole with our sponsors who have organized this very important session where we're going to talk to quite a number of youth, take them through the mental health, how to prevent, how to go about it, and I think it's going to be very, very, very impactful.
NBS. Always. Up next. Brought to you by Botekala is back with double energy. Grab a room. Silverback energy. Check under the cap. What you see is what you win. Rock Ball energy for winners. NBS Live at 9.
The Constitution allows for the President to appoint only 21 cabinet ministers and 21 ministers of state. But this that was released on Tuesday, that I read to you here at about a few minutes after 8 p.m. on Tuesday, had about 81 ministers in total. That means there was an extra 51 or so. So then Parliament has to sit to increase that number so they can fit into the government structure legally. Now, if you do not understand the mathematics in there, well, thanks to NBS Live at 9, we have that story and much more coming here. And stay with us. But first, let's take a look at the headlines.
Parliament approves the Vice President and Prime Minister.
Approval of Honorable Robert Anapa as the Prime Minister.
Kick-starting parliamentary business. The The shadow cabinet is out.
Is none other than Honorable Joel B. Senyonyi.
Joel Senyonyi retained as LOP. Left in the cold.
We don't know why those who are potentially becoming ministers are not ministers at all.
Why weren't NRM converted included in the cabinet?
Who said I wanted to be one?
Ebola update.
Schools are not closed. They're supposed to follow the standard operating procedure.
Learners not allowed to cross borders to go to school.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba, and Kanari Mugume.
Welcome to NBS Live at 9. To our top story tonight, the National Unity Platform has reappointed Nakawa West Member of Parliament Joel Senyonyi as the leader of opposition in Parliament. Senyonyi, who has served the last 2.5 years as leader of opposition, will be joined by John Baptist Nambeshe as Commissioner of Parliament, Paul Mwiru as Opposition Chief Whip. The Party Secretary General Lewis Rubongoya announced that all appointments were sanctioned and approved by the party's National Executive Committee.
NUP's top leadership convened a closed-door session that took nearly 3 hours, after which the parliamentary leadership was announced, including the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, opposition whip, Paul Mwiru, and Commissioner John Baptist Nambeshe, among others.
People power.
Unveiling the new leadership, Rubongwe told the congregation present that the appointees had been confirmed by the party top organ, the Central Executive Committee. However, Rubongwe noted they had rushed the process as the party had not anticipated the earlier summons by the Speaker of Parliament to have the members approved and designated by Parliament.
We initially thought Parliament was going to be constituted next week, so we are taking our time until these people brought out a notice, and today Parliament is going to sit to approve some of these things.
Shortly after his appointment as the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi challenged his colleagues to lead with integrity.
We'll start us off and really want to encourage colleagues. Let's go and deliver. Let's go and challenge the cabinet people on the other side and show people that we are an alternative government.
Senyonyi also revealed that the composition of the new shadow cabinet was guided in part by a desire to be inclusive of opposition colleagues already serving in Parliament, a gesture he framed as an expression of national unity.
You will notice that this shadow cabinet is reflective of all the opposition political parties in Parliament. Now, I know, and some people have said, but we hear there's this political party, it has an MOU with the NRM, this one, we don't quite understand it. When you are a leader, and we are leaders, you try and accommodate everybody.
The appointees span multiple political formations, including NUP, FDC, ANT, UPC, among others. Some of the appointees have expressed optimism that they will check the government to ensure transparency and accountability.
All right, so who has eaten big in the opposition leadership in Parliament? Let's take a look at those positions and the people occupying those offices. We start with the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, who has retained that seat. And now we have a new parliamentary commissioner. Previously, it was Francis Zake, and now we have John Baptist Nambeshe, who is also deputy president of the National Unity Platform in charge of the East. And then you have Paul Mwiru, who is going to be the opposition chief whip, and you have Harriet Nakwede, who is going to deputize, that is Paul Mwiru. You have the chair of committees. I have Betty Namboze right there, who is going to be deputized by Abed Nasa Mudiobole on the local government committee. You also have other leaders. Now, the Government Assurances and Implementation Committee will be chaired by Francis Zake, who has been a parliamentary commissioner, and will be chaired by the lady there from FDC, and that is Anna Ebaju Adeke. You have the chair for Kosase, and that will be chaired by Mwada Nkunyinji, deputized by George Musisi. Then let's get to PAC, the parliamentary, the Public Accounts Committee, rather, chaired by Nsamba Patrick and deputized by Sarah Ruansasula. And now let's take a look at the shadow cabinet right there, looking into who is who in the shadow cabinet. The Honorable Nakwede Harriet will be the Deputy Chief Opposition Whip and Shadow Minister for Presidency. You have an independent candidate there, Karim Masaba, Cooperatives and Microfinance. Honorable Sewungu Gonzaga, Defense and Veteran Affairs. Sheila Amanio, who will be in charge of Information and Anti-Corruption. And then someone there, that is Honorable Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko from the UPC, will be in charge of Science, Innovation and Technology in the shadow cabinet. Alliance for National Transformation, only Member of Parliament, Honorable Kasule Ismail, Trade and Industry in the shadow cabinet. We have more names here. There have been also names from the Democratic Party. Okello Patrick Onguti, who will be the Shadow Minister for the local government. Honorable Serena Javida, who will be in charge of finance planning and economic development. Honorable Tebandeke Charles, Animal Industry and Fisheries. And that is also Alobo Joan Akom, who will be in charge of foreign affairs. We also have Honorable Sumaya Nabawanuka, who will be in charge of lands, housing and urban development. And then Honorable Lukanga Moses Musanje, energy and minerals. You see, there's a pick from FDC, National Inter-Platform, majority, of course, Alliance for National Transformation and Democratic Party. Honorable Kaluya Andrew Chiza will be in charge of education in the shadow cabinet. The Honorable Chiza Hakim will be in charge of East African Community Affairs. The Honorable Jimmy Kanabi will be in charge of public service. Dr. Timothy Lusalabatua will be in charge of health. That is a position he has occupied even in the previous shadow cabinet. Honorable Sekabira Dennis will be in charge of internal affairs. Naulima Betty Honorable will be in charge of gender, labor and social development. We have more names coming in here in the shadow cabinet. Honorable Robert Maseruka, Youth and Children Affairs. The Honorable Fred Jalameso will be in charge of tourism and wildlife from the UPC. You have Honorable Jamal Mukuve, who will be in charge of water and environment. You have Kutesa Patrick Honorable, who will be in charge of agriculture. And then from the Democratic Party, you have Honorable Okot Peter, who will be in charge of the special regions. And then Honorable Caps Fungaru will be in charge of human rights. There's been a peak from all the different political parties. I'm yet to see PFF. Honorable Abdallah Chwanuka, Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Honorable Zara Ruirika, Kampala Capital City Authority. And then we have a representative from PFF, Honorable Asinas Nyakato, Works and Transport. You have the Honorable Zambari Blasio Mukasa, who will be in charge of sports. That is the shadow cabinet. You have more. Honorable Hussein Mionjo, who will be in charge of culture, and that is right there, culture and performing arts. And then the Attorney General in the shadow cabinet will be Honorable Oluyimbazi Nalukola. That's how the shadow cabinet is composed. But let's throw some perspective onto that story. And joining us tonight is the Honorable Geoffrey Ekanya, and who will be speaking to us to understand some of the dynamics in Parliament. Honorable Ekanya, many thanks for joining us this evening. Now that the shadow cabinet is formed, what should be the expectations in holding, executive very highly accountable?
First of all, the leadership of the current parliament is the right person in terms of leading parliamentary institution, because he's a lawyer background, he has humor, and he has been sharing a committee of rules, the committee of legal affairs. So he's quite knowledgeable in summary. Honorable both the current Speaker of Parliament is knowledgeable, and therefore I believe he's going to steer the House and ensure that the committees perform their tasks according to the rules of procedure and according to the Constitution. One, they should ensure that there is appropriate use of technology and the technical staff, and ensuring that the system of Parliament, some time back during the era of Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, there was a proposal for parliamentary radio and parliamentary TV to ensure public participation. I hope that the government will allow that. The government did not allow that in the last parliament. I hope the government will allow the public to add on the media support that has been given by NBS and other media houses for the public to be tuned to Parliament throughout the parliamentary activities at committee level because of the space. The media houses do not have the space to be able to air out all activities of committee. When parliamentary committees are in the field, it's about media and people being informed about what's happening. So we hope Honorable both should be able to do that. And the issue of time, Honorable Anita Mong had introduced a program of action taken by government, because Parliament, we make recommendations, we pass reports. And so we need to receive what action government has taken to address issues of corruption, address issues of poverty, but the executive did not like it. So I hope Honorable both will ensure that is enforced. Government submitting reports every week on action taken on parliamentary recommendation and reports. That will put pressure on chairpersons of committee to be able to look at the policy statement, to be able to monitor government programs on time and submit reports. If they don't do that, you will see next election coming and so many MPs will lose their constituencies and seats.
All right, so what about the committees in Parliament? What changes need to be done to ensure that they are so effective, they are able to scrutinize the bills very well, but also clear the backlog?
I hope the current speaker will accord parliamentary committee, the committee time to present their reports. We have issues of time. Of course, the rules demand that government reports, governments are given first priority in terms of time and space on the order paper, and therefore committees present report, and sometimes because of time, committees are made to summarize reports, not read the entire report, and the debate of the reports are also limited to 1 or 2 minutes. We need that to stop. We are under a multi-party system. The parties need to identify individuals who can debate on a given report, represent a given topic. If it is works, the government in power and the opposition should have time and identify people who can respond. Not every member of parliament should be given opportunity at every session of the House or every sitting of the House. Therefore, it is the leadership of the House and the leadership of the committee that needs to agree that reports of committee of chairperson are accorded adequate time on the floor, maybe 3 hours, and the reports are debated and actions are demanded. What makes the committees to get disappointed, including the technical people, is the lack of space on the order paper. Given 30 minutes to present a serious report, committees go to the field, for example, to do assessment, to do benchmarking on roads, schools, hospitals. When they come to the House, they only given 30 minutes to lay the report on the floor. That discourages and it takes away the energy.
And Honourable, the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, has been retained in the same office. How do you think, what are your expectations of him, and do you think he'll be able to hold the executive accountable? And how have previous laws, of the leader of opposition, those who have expired that particular office, how effective have they been?
Of course, Joel Senyonyi and Honorable Puga, like Honorable Nathan Nandala, of course, as you remember, when he was the leader of opposition, they played a good, serious role. When I was Shadow Minister of Finance, chairperson of local government account, we recommended the recovery of billions of shillings. Several accounting officers were relieved of their duties. We have abuse of state resource going on day and night. We hope Joel Senyonyi, the current leader of opposition, will mobilize opposition to go to areas that government does not want them to go. Like, for example, the hospital funds that had been given, the government support to private sectors, doing roads where there is a poor work going on, construction of hospitals, schools, all following up all these funds like the Mioga, the Bonabagagawal, all these funds that are abused at the district level where the community don't receive. You know, government says every Ugandan is supposed to receive 1 million. But when you go down there, the poor people are given 200, 300. Most of the money is taken by the leaders of this, the GISOs and all the leadership who manages the fund and pass the community. People sign for 1 million. At the end of the day, they receive 1 million and pass back 800,000. So it is the duty of the leadership of the opposition to expose the rot in the government delivery service system. And I hope they will be able to do that. If they don't do that, the population will be totally disappointed.
Honorable Geoffrey Ekanya, many thanks for speaking to us tonight. Now, moving on, several high-profile figures expected to make it onto the newly released cabinet list have been left out, with former Speaker Anita Among and recent opposition defectors such as Yusuf Nsabambi notably missing from President Museveni's appointments. Political observers say Among's omission could be part of efforts to reinforce government's anti-corruption image, while others argue that some defectors crossed to the ruling party at a politically sensitive time marked by growing pressure from the PLU. Analysts, however, note that membership in the NRM itself often comes with significant political advantages even without a cabinet appointment.
The list of newly appointed ministers released on Tuesday this week has seen some veteran politicians dropped, with only a few fresh faces introduced, while others were simply reshuffled into different positions. The appointments have triggered questions over why some of those were left out, particularly high-profile opposition defectors who attracted significant political attention upon joining the ruling party failed to secure cabinet positions. Figures such as Yusuf Nsabambi, Anthony Akor or Jarama Penduzi and others were widely expected to receive key responsibilities due to their political experience, but they remain without ministerial appointments. Political analysts say there appears to be no clear or transparent formula guiding ministerial appointments, making it difficult to predict why some individuals are selected while others were left out.
So you could justify as to why Chris Wariomunsi moves to the Ministry of Health, because he's a doctor of medicine. But there's no reason as to why Acheng would move to ICT. What we struggle with in this country is information. We don't know why the people who went on and became ministers actually became ministers. We don't know why those who were potentially close to becoming ministers are not ministers at all.
Veteran politician and PFF member Wafula Ogutu did not miss his words, saying President Museveni is aware that some of those politicians did not join the ruling party out of loyalty, but for political survival and opportunity. He adds that one can still serve the country effectively even while in opposition.
I think they were seen to be what they are, political malaya, political prostitutes. Yes, the president also, Museveni also gets intelligence reports. Most of these people, they don't have that record that they are people who have done service.
Meanwhile, one of those reportedly overlooked, NRM's Martin Jarama Penduzi, says he's not discouraged by missing out on ministerial appointments, arguing that there are many other ways to serve the country even without holding cabinet office.
By the way, who said I wanted to be one? Okay? The president knows who plays what role, when and where. That is the most important, and we should respect that. So it shouldn't be somebody has to. It should be, what are you going to do there?
Among whose omission has drawn attention is Anita Among. Legal experts say that despite being under investigation, there's nothing in the law preventing her from holding office. They believe her exclusion may have been politically motivated.
Because when you look at Article 112 to 118 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, there is no provision or law which prohibits any person from being appointed a minister when they are under investigations or when they are charged. Also, when you look at the Constitution under Article 28(3)(a), Anita Among is still presumed innocent.
So she's a political liability for now. Before she's cleared, she's a political liability and she can be parked somewhere. Maybe she will be resurrected.
Tumwebaze further argues that individuals such as Yusuf Nsabambi joined government at a time when it is under pressure from the Patriotic League of Uganda, PLU, which could explain why several PLU-leaning figures were included in cabinet.
And therefore, even when you look at the cabinet, you realize that about 17 members of PLU were appointed ministers. Therefore, it was the president didn't have a lot of options to select from other members, apart from the young people from PLU.
Dr. Yusuf Serunkoma does not believe that those left out should necessarily feel politically abandoned, noting that many NRM members continue to benefit politically and socially from their association with the ruling party, even without cabinet appointments.
Once you enter NRM and if your project is eating, you could say you are surrounded by the blood of the NRM. So whatever avenue you're going to be pursuing, you're protected because you belong to the NRM and you're a prominent person, right? And I think that's in the context in which you ask that question. Is it over for them? No, it's not over for them.
Now, hundreds of learners who cross daily between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo could face disruption in their education following stricter Ebola containment measures announced by the Ministry of Health. In a fresh clarification issued after Uganda closed the border with DRC, the Director of Public Health in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, says learners will no longer be allowed to cross borders as authorities intensify efforts to contain the Ebola outbreak.
The government of Uganda announced tougher containment measures on Wednesday this week aimed at preventing a further spread of Ebola, with authorities now restricting cross-border movement between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to the Director of Public Health in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, learners currently in Uganda will have to continue studying from within the country, while those already in DR Congo may remain there until the situation is under control.
For the children who want to study across the borders, we remember when we had COVID, the whole country and the whole world was shut down. So education will not be an urgent item to do when we are faced with a danger. Education without life would not be useful.
The ministry, however, clarifies that schools across Uganda remain open but are under strict instructions to enforce standard operating procedures, including temperature screening, monitoring of symptoms, and reporting suspected cases.
The people in Uganda, the schools are not closed. They're supposed to follow the standard operating procedures as they take temperature, they follow the people, but we're going to make sure that once they've said no more crossing, it's no more crossing. So those who will be found here will study here. Those who are the other side must wait.
Government has also directed all Ugandans returning from Congo to undergo self-isolation for 21 days as part of enhanced surveillance measures aimed at breaking possible chains of transmission. Health officials are now appealing to the public to cooperate with surveillance teams by reporting suspected Ebola cases and obeying quarantine directives.
First of all, to be the eyes and the ears for the health workers and the authority to inform us what is happening in your community. Secondly, is if you have been asked to come and self-isolate, if you have been a contact, please protect those around you by obeying the information given.
Uganda confirmed a new Ebola outbreak on May 15, 2026, with health officials linking the spread to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the disease has had a devastating impact. Uganda has reported 7 cases of Ebola, including the first case of a 15-year-old man who died in Kampala.
Feedback brought to you by.
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. Absa, your story matters.
And now let's take a look at your feedback on our opinion question. The question tonight is, parliamentary business has officially begun with the approval of the Vice President and the Prime Minister. Moving forward, what should be the focus? Hashtag NBS Live at 9. Let's get a look at the first comment. Mugume Johnson says, focus on service delivery as opposed to bagging millions of money as MPs. Please remember your people, where you come from. Debate about developmental issues, not just the matter of passing bills which will enslave you too when you become civilians like us. MPs are civilians. Restoring public trust in the operations of the parliament. Being a people-centered parliament, fighting for the rights of the marginalized Ugandans, restoring sanity of the August House, passing bills that improve the social welfare of ordinary people. That is Mviri Godfrey's opinion.
More to come, brought to you by
blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love.
When we return from the break, we'll tell you about the release of the Baseline Education Census Report 2025 that was released today by the Uganda Bureau of Statistics and what it does reveal. In terms of what it does reveal, we'll tell you how there's uneven access to education. Over 1,000 parishes have no primary school at all. But that story and much more coming up here on NBS Live at 9. Stay with us.
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance, it's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we, blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free on fire, free on fire, free on fire.
Weekend yetu sina yeto inagafumba. You got Glovo. Oinacheweta gamukatale tofayo. You got Glovo. If you're having a celebration, you got Glovo. You can order what you want. You can get what you need. You got Glovo. You got it all. You got Glovo.
Download the app. Order with Glovo. Track it minute by minute until you receive it in minutes.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UG Pass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UG Pass, your identity secured. Available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UG Pass is a product of NITA Uganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a thrilling ride. Flight time will be non-stop until the buzzer, and we'll be cruising above the rim. Temperature on the court will be hot with unexpected cold moves. Cabin crew, we're cleared for season 6 tip-off. It's takeoff time. BAL, rise with the game.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to NBS Live at 9. Now, there's a full house at Parliament today because today's parliamentary plenary session has been marked by political clashes, key reappointments and a heated debate over expanding government. The chamber was so crowded that some members of Parliament had to stand along the walls or move to the public gallery to take part. The session on May 28 heightened that Uganda's legislative building has outgrown its capacity for the 12th Parliament.
This historic chamber was originally designated to accommodate a modest group of about 80 members. Today, it crammed to maximum capacity, forcing more than 500 lawmakers into the exact same footprint. To make matters worse, a solution remains completely stalled. Construction on the new spacious 200 billion shillings parliamentary complex continues to face persistent delays, repeatedly missing its completion deadlines. Despite a wall-to-wall crowd and a severe shortage of benches, critical state business pressed ahead. Amidst this, Parliament has officially confirmed both Vice President Jessica Alupo and Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to serve consecutive second terms. First to face the House was the Vice President, whose appointment was secured by a simple majority under Article 108(2) of the Constitution. Following her confirmation, Vice President Jessica Alupo pivoted straight to a message of national unity.
I request for the support and warm working relationship from each and every member of this House, because when we work as a team, we accomplish our assignments very fast, very well and very easily.
The Prime Minister, on approval, pledged to strengthen the link between the executive and the legislature.
Effective management of climate change, environmental and natural resources and disasters as they occur. Fellow leaders, Ugandans expect quality services from us. We can effectively serve our people through proper implementation, monitoring and evaluation of government interventions.
The mood quickly shifted to policy battleground as lawmakers debated structure scale of the executive. The newly approved Prime Minister Robina Nabanja personally moved the motion to legally scale up the front benches, pushing the cap from 21 cabinet ministers to 30 and boosting ministers of state from 21 to 51. Staring down intense pushback from colleagues concerned over public spending and administrative bloat, Nabanja fiercely defended the numbers, framing the move as a streamlining effort rather than an expansion. With the executive legally secured at 81 ministers and a top leadership firmly locked in, the 12th Parliament has officially cleared the deck for a new government structure, even if they had to stand packed to the raffles to get it done. Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oboth ordered for a report on the construction of the new chambers to accommodate the growing numbers of MPs.
We are now 529 members. When you add the ex-officials, we shall be 550 plus. Now that we have opened the space and said we can have many more ministers, we are waiting. Right Honourable Speaker, there is new chambers that have been under construction for donkey's years. It is something that I have talked about here on the floor of Parliament. Money is appropriated for the same. What is happening? Every financial year, money is appropriated.
Within 2 weeks, the clerk will give me the status report on that building and what needs to be done and when it's going to be completed. And I'll report here. So the business committee has to work. We are going to do what they call resetting the factory default.
A full house in Parliament with a brand new Speaker of Parliament. Now, members of Parliament have applauded the conduct and humour exhibited by the new Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oboth, as presiding officer of the second sitting of the 12th parliamentary sessions. Extraordinary and different from former Speaker of the 11th Parliament. Regardless of the challenges of audio which disrupted his maiden sitting as Speaker of the 12th Parliament for almost 30 minutes, Jacob Oboth came back composed to preside over the session.
The party, not the platform. has elected Honorable Joel. I hereby announce Honorable Joel Basekezi Senyonyi as the leader of opposition.
Become a referee for all of us. Our hope is that you will be ready to blow the whistle when there is a hard tackle, as opposed to you actually being the one tackling us.
He has a high sense of humor, a high sense of professionalism, and fairness in terms of the way we are doing business today.
Any rules on a member who is pushing a odd point of order, point of procedure is courteous, and that is putting him in good light, and we have seen a warm afternoon of the first sitting under his chairship.
Parliament with a lot of respect, and if we pray, we continue like that, I'm very sure every one of us is going to present each and everything that is affecting his people, our people.
That he can live up to that, and even if he's faced with very hard debates or hard decisions to take, that he will still maintain that neutral stance.
Still keeping with the politics, concerns over the future relevance and organizational strength of the Democratic Party has taken center stage as Party Vice President Fred Mukasambide begins countrywide consultations with leaders and supporters, saying the party has suffered years of weak internal coordination, limited engagement of party organs and growing public perception that DP no longer stands independently from the ruling establishment.
Democratic Party Vice President Fred Mukasambide has officially launched nationwide consultations with party leaders and members in what he described as an effort to secure the future of Uganda's oldest political party ahead of a leadership transition. Mbide says the consultations have been prompted by the growing concern among party members over the direction of DP, which he argues has increasingly been perceived by both the opposition and the public as an extension of the ruling NRM government.
We are going to do consultative work throughout the country, in the form of meetings, in the form of conventions, even in the form of political rallies, until we achieve the major objective. We have given this experiment 3 years.
He further criticized Mao's leadership style, accusing him of failing to convene party organs and structures to chart a clear future for the party. Mbide argues that the Democratic Party has over time lost ideological direction and internal cohesion, leaving many supporters frustrated and disconnected from the party's leadership.
Some of you have been castigating the DP because of the cooperation agreement. No, the cooperation agreement per se is not the problem. The problem is failure even to implement that agreement. Number two, the protagonist himself chose to suffer from empleomania, excessive love for public office. He forgot even what is provided for in the cooperation agreement. I have it here. The guy was told he's going to be Minister, Justice and Constitutional Affairs. He started running up and down, wanting to act as IGG, then he runs around, he wants to be Speaker.
While falling short of formally declaring his bid for the party presidency, Mbide indicated that he is ready and willing to lead the party if entrusted with the responsibility by party members.
I am leading this struggle not to replace him personally. But if I were given the opportunity, I can tell you, I will show up an hour, even before such an opportunity is granted to me. As Vice President of the party for 3 terms, I have dispensed with all work that is related to the presidency.
And the Honorable Dr. Fred Mukasambide has been part of this. Well, he has not come up to speak or present these issues in the last 5 years. But that does not mean that there has not been issues. Issues are there.
Just learnt a new word over there, excessive love for public office. I couldn't find it in the dictionary though. Let's talk education. Education officials have emphasized the importance of accurate and timely data in improving planning and addressing gaps in Uganda's education sector. This followed the release of the Baseline Education Census Report 2025 by the Uganda Bureau of Statistics that revealed uneven access to education, with 1,373 parishes having no primary school at all. Yet, over 3,000 parishes lack a government primary school.
The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has launched the Baseline Education Census Report 2025 that is expected to guide planning and decision-making in Uganda's education sector. The report provides updated statistics on schools and non-tertiary institutions across the country, including data on learners, teaching staff, infrastructure and instructional materials.
We found 38,347 schools giving pre-primary education, and with 374,674 learners, with pupil to teacher ratio of 29 learners to 1 teacher.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports, Kedris Turiagenda, says timely and accurate data is critical if Uganda is to achieve its Vision 2040 targets in the education sector. She says these findings will also play a key role in shaping the ministry's new strategic plan running from 2026 to 2031.
So having this data will help us in every way regarding the teachers, the classrooms we need. That's exactly why we asked this census to happen, because we need to know who started school, when, where are they at.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of UBO's Board of Directors, Albert Vyamcha, has commended the government for introducing universal primary education in 1997 and universal secondary education in 2007, describing the programs as the country's most transformative social policies. He says, according to the report, the interventions have enabled millions of children, especially from vulnerable and low-income families, to access education regardless of their socio-economic background.
Of universal primary education in 1997 increased the primary school enrollment from about 2.5 million learners in the mid-1990s to over 8 million learners within a few years.
However, Vyamcha has cautioned that despite the progress registered, gaps in the education sector still remain. He has called for increased investment in school infrastructure, teacher welfare, digital learning, science and innovation, as well as efforts to keep girls and vulnerable children in school.
This youthful population presents both a challenge and a tremendous opportunity that requires sustained investment in quality education, skilling and innovation.
Well, let us break down what that report shows on school numbers and student enrollment across both government and private institutions, that is. Now, let's have a look at their pre-primary education. The schools that do exist are 38,347 in total over there. Let's look at more of those particular numbers. Now, we are looking also at the private schools. Out of the 38 we just saw, 35,154 are actually private schools, 3,139 attached only to public schools altogether. That's what we're seeing there. Now, again, looking at 2.37 million pupils altogether. That's quite a big number, particularly for the private school students over there. Now, about 1,207,966 are boys, while 1,166,708 are girls. More boys seem to be in school in that case, especially for the primary education. Now, 43,567 primary schools over there as well, when we're looking at the primary education, not the pre-primary. Now, in total, about 31,010 are private schools altogether. Now, looking at the public schools over there, just 12,557 while the learners are about 9,118,314. This is in primary education learners. Those are the numbers over there. Now, let's have a look at the differences in terms of gender. Female learners, about 4,586,970, with the girls outweighing the male learners in this one at 4,531,344 for the primary education for the girls and boys there. Now, looking at the parishes that lack a government primary school, that is. Now, out of 10,860 parishes that are 3,087. Those are the ones that are lacking government schools in the primary in particular. Now, communities without any primary schools, on the other hand, 1,373 out of 10,860. That is altogether. Those are communities that do not have any primary schools altogether. Those are numbers that matter this evening. Now, moving on from that is now the Executive Director of Uganda Communications Commission, Nyombi Tembo, has called on researchers to develop innovative ways to shield children from mature online content under the Child Online Protection Agenda. He also urged Ugandans and players in the entertainment industry to create safer digital content that allows creatives to monetize their work responsibly. Nyombi made the remarks during the awarding of successful researchers from different universities across the country for their outstanding research project aimed at promoting innovation and development in the communities, or rather the communications sector. Now, Nyombi notes that research and innovation remain key in addressing emerging digital challenges, especially those affecting young people in the rapidly evolving online space.
How do we use like AI to detect a child? You see, parents are telling lies on behalf of the children to ensure that they get internet. Because I think the internet, before you get internet, you have to be 18 years. But all of us know, it's an open secret, that our children of 12 years, 11 years, 9 years, have email addresses. They can access internet, they can access social media. So how do we help this? Because child online protection is a very, very, very important issue now, a regulatory matter. Through research, how do we assist our Ugandan musics to put up innovative ways of assisting them to see how they can use their music, they can benefit from the digital space. We can find a way of designing some research questions around those topics so that these people, the knowledge custodian, can help us to illuminate these issues.
And so we'll have as many stakeholders as possible to listen to what it is that you're presenting in the different research projects. And we believe that the industry, specifically the industry in the communication sector, will be interested now to have their maybe issues that they may have in their industry.
Cooking all that makes food sweet. Tastes so good like mama's keys. Sweet tamasana, yeah. Stir God, it's the oil you need for a tasty meal to live a healthy, happy life. Stir God, refined, fortified, blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love.
The National Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign is back. No one should die of malaria in this era. It is your responsibility to chase malaria from your home. The good news is that the Government of Uganda has once again started distribution of mosquito nets under the 5th Universal Coverage Campaign, also known as the Under the Net campaign. Under this exercise, 1 mosquito net will be distributed per 2 people in every household. A village health team member, a community health extension worker also known as a CHU, and the LC1 chairperson will move house to house to register members of the household in preparation for receiving their mosquito nets. Do not lie back. Ensure that you register all your household members to receive a mosquito net. On the distribution date, move to your distribution point and receive your net. Mosquito nets protect you and your family members from infectious mosquito bites that lead to malaria. Ensure that you receive the net, hang the net, and sleep under the net every night.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The Kamani is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500k to process my NSSF money. How dare you?
So, Mujara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school and for the school van contribution?
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
Now, before we get to our business stories, Frontline will be coming up after this. Our guests are already ready, getting some tea. Looking forward to that particular conversation, so stay tuned right here on NBS. Now, mobile money has become one of Uganda's most important financial tools. But many users say that convenience now comes at a growing cost. And to micro, small and medium enterprises that are battling with cash flow challenges, they are torn between accepting mobile payments from clients and inconveniencing them with withdrawal charges, thus calling for government to revise the 0.5% excise duty on mobile money withdrawal charges.
For millions of Ugandans without bank accounts, mobile money is the economy. But users increasingly complain about the transaction charges and taxes. Some users have already returned to cash transactions to avoid charges.
Kuba olumu oyinza otula n'okabala nga border charges zanakusaba okutuuka ewa client ziba cheaper than charges ziri ze bajja ku simu through the mobile money.
Uganda remains one of Africa's leading mobile money markets, processing billions of transactions annually. However, researchers say taxes on mobile money can discourage digital financial inclusion, especially among low-income earners.
So, of course, if the government imposes a tax on such a charge, then, of course, MTN or Airtel will push it to the client, to the customer who is using the mobile money itself. So if I'm a business person, I'm going to tell the other person, of course, include the withdrawal charges. Please include them. Or either they give the money to the border guy and he runs away with it, or they send the money and then they put withdrawal charges. It looks like a small amount, you're right, but it's a big one. It's a big one. To the extent that some clients are going to give up on a commodity because of that small amount that's going to be added in form of withdrawal charges.
Economists warn that expensive digital finance may slow Uganda's transition towards a cashless economy. This say that the cost burden on ordinary Ugandans is becoming unsustainable.
If you look at the excise duty on mobile money transactions of 0.5%, it's discouraging mobile money usage. That's why you see people say, let me come for the money, don't deposit it. Because it's become a pain for mobile money users.
Government insists that the cost is not so high to prohibit usage of mobile money.
But definitely, if there are those concerns, we can always listen to them. The intention of government is not to overtax the citizens. We are trying our level best to expand and widen the tax base so that as many Ugandans as possible are paying taxes, and eventually the taxes also will come down.
While convenient, any receiver of mobile money in Uganda loses a little more money in comparison with their East African counterpart on each withdrawal of money. Experts say that halving the tax from 0.5% to 0.25% would increase usage of the service.
Now let's have a look at tech news. Uganda's retail sector is steadily evolving as businesses shift from traditional storefronts to more connected tech-enabled models. Driven by rising smartphone penetration and mobile money adoption, retailers are integrating e-commerce platforms
in the traditional way of shopping. We expect clientele to come to the supermarket directly. But in this field, it is different in a way that when you have the app on board, you extend a lot of services to the client without them stepping to the supermarket. And it makes work even easier. So with the app, You can track your order in real time. We make sure we track our riders to the supermarket, and so you can get your goodies faster.
Masters UG is an in-house developed platform that allows customers to browse products, place orders, and access supermarket services directly from their smartphones. The app reflects a growing trend among Ugandan retailers to build direct-to-customer digital channels.
The best thing this app is going to solve is, one, the time that we actually take to deliver our goods to the client, and two, it's going to ease the search of items from the clients. So the hassle of, moving around the supermarket, trying to find something, it is easy as just searching.
The introduction of Masters UG highlights how local businesses are leveraging technology to stay competitive and meet the changing needs of modern consumers, making shopping faster, smarter, and more accessible.
Well, let's jump into some sport this evening. SC Villa will be looking for their joint record 10th title when they take on 2024 winners Chitara FC this Saturday at the FUFA Technical Center in Jeru in the 2025-26 final. The two sides have met twice in the league, with each winning at home away from the 50 million shilling cash prize. Winners earn a ticket to the CAF Confederations Cup. Express and KCCA FC after the joint record 10-time winners.
But he knows to play on results. That is, I think, for me, big strong for Kitara. And because of that, it's very difficult always when he play against that team, because we don't have too much experience on my team.
Kyensuubira nga wegambye buli tiimu tulina approach. Villa tumanyi tiimu nnungi, nina abasambi abalungi, bali comfortable ku mupiira, basobola okusamba. Naye finals ebiseera ebisinga byonna buli muntu alinda moment. Kyensuubira buli tiimu esobola okufuna moment nesobola okuwangula finals.
The mood is very okay, but still we cannot underrate Chitara. Chitara is a good team. Everyone is willing to perform to his best so that we can win the game.
So tasty, delicious, some snacks. So yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy.
Boy and girl, come here, son. Uncle Son's got you. May have some snacks for you. Your man, papa, your granny and your picnic. Well, if I can, the snacks for you. Come pick anything you want. Some snacks for your tummy. Yummy, yummy.
Sam's, delivering memorable moments in every household.
Our products range from doors